Okay, continuing on with my old masterpiece figures in alt mode. Here is a look at Fans Toys' first version of Perceptor, which is another figure that I gave away to my friend who pretty much has all of my old masterpiece figures. But that's okay because I now have Fans Toys 2.0 version, which is obviously more tune accurate than their first version. But in terms of the old masterpiece figure that I want to have in alt mode, I decided to have the X-Transbots version in alt mode. And there's actually a lot of reasons why. But one positive reason is because the alt mode for X-Transbots is actually more tune accurate than the Fans Toys. Specifically, the this little red detail, this little, I don't know what you call it, the dial or something that you see in the alt mode is completely missing in Fans Toys. So I think Fans Toys missed that twice on both their figures. But anyways, that's a positive reason why I am deciding to have the X-Transbots in the alt mode. But the other reason is because there's a lot of issues with this figure. And you know, I spent about 2 weeks trying to figure out how to make this video because any critique I point out about X-Transbots figures or even Magic Square or New Age or Fans Toys, you're always going to get the fans leaving comments, just criticizing me for making critiques about their figure. So I actually had to, spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to point things out that I feel are very important to know about the issues with this figure. And I don't need to go to this extent, but I actually looked through a lot of reviews of this figure just to validate, the things I want to point out with the issues with this figure. So I should not get any criticizing comments for pointing out the issues with the X-Transbots figure. But the main thing is I point them out because they're just very important things that people need to know when you invest money to get these figures. But that's the other reason why I am deciding to have this in alt mode, because of all the issues with the engineering design of the transformation, the quality of the plastic and stuff. And let me just say that, when I first got this, I transformed it, no problem. Because I have to transform all my figures when I get them just to make sure everything's A-okay. But after trying to set this up for a review, I ended up transforming this like 14 times because I was trying to figure out how to resolve the issue with these arms, pulling these arms out from alt mode, which interestingly, a lot of Transformer reviewers, they don't show the transformation from alt mode to the robot mode. I mean, MGO does a nice job, but with this one, I don't think he did that great of a job. And someone else who does a really nice job on the reviews is Pake. But the issue there is his videos are like an hour long. And I could see why, a lot of people kind of criticize my videos for being too long because I do pretty much the same thing. I'm very detailed. I point out a lot of the things that people need to know, which is what Pake does. And he specifically was also pointing out the issues with bringing these arms out from alt mode to robot mode. And I think he did a better job than MGO. But yeah, what I was saying was when I was trying to figure out an easy way to do that, I ended up breaking it. So I'll point those things out. But I said 3 areas. So one, let me just tell you that X-Transbots, you could see that pin. they did that so you do have this butterfly joint, but I don't know how many times I transformed it, but one of the times, you know, it ended up breaking because it's the quality of the plastic that they used in that area. And this is a very important thing you need to know. You always have to be conscious of where that's at before you start manipulating this, because you might break this just from trying to pull this down. But let me just tell you, it broke there because of the type of plastic that this is. Again, it's not meant to handle the stress and stuff, you know, just from this pin. So if this doesn't rotate correctly, just a little bend, I mean, you're causing stress on that plastic. So that's the first breakage here. And fortunately for me, I didn't break mines here like a lot of people did, because I never bothered to transform this into this Canon mode. The other one, let me see if I could remember. Oh, yeah, like I said, when I was trying to bring these arms out, like right here, this piece ended up breaking also, which I don't want to do because I'm going to kind of mess up the transformation of this scope, which this, again, the way they designed it, unless you transform it correctly, this scope is not going to fit in correctly. But this piece also ended up breaking because, you know, the type of plastic. But anyways, I had to super glue it, so it no longer has a butterfly joint, which I think maybe that's the way they should have made it in the first place. But you can see it does have the nice clickety ratchets. And compared to Fans Toys, it does not have the butterfly joint. And Fans Toys uses the nice friction, which holds up pretty well because of the paint that they used. And then the third area, which it's kind of hard to show you unless I bring it out, but this, again, the way you have to bring this piece out, it's just not designed very well. And there's a little, and this type of quality of the plastic also, when you put that tab in here with these legs that are so loose flopping around, that ended up breaking this plastic piece, because you put it in, and then when I'm trying to work on this side, because this leg doesn't really lock or anything, it ended up moving and breaking as a result of transforming this like 14 times. And this is probably like on most other figures, but as a result of transforming it so many times, you get some paint missing, like right there and right there. So that does happen with Takata, and probably will with Fans Toys. I mean, if you transform the figure like 14 times. But anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to say with that. In terms of the figure and all the accessories, let me see if I could just quickly go over them. X-Transbots, as always, you get a ton of accessories. And I'm not sure how I actually feel about all this, but you do get all these nice alternate face plates, which is really nice. And then you do get the comic book head, which I guess it's nice for those people who like those things. And then more accessories, you get these chemistry bottle kits and stuff, which are really kind of cool if that's your thing. And then of course you have to have your weapons. And first of all, there's an issue here. This one, first of all, I don't even know why they put these two separate pieces. They should have just made this one piece, because when you put this piece, let me just see if I can show you. They did not make it so it stays in. It just this piece, look at it, it just easily falls off. So don't know why they did that. They should have just made this like one piece so that it's, you know, you don't have that issue. And what's also unusual is that they gave you this plate where you could store these weapon pieces, which is nice, but you know, as I always tell you with product design, a good design is when you don't have so many parts. So this is just something with more parts. And here, let me just do a comparison as well. Here's Fans Toys version. So yeah, I think this was obviously done much better. And then here you do get his cartoon gun and this missile, which, you know, I'll just do all this just to show you, but this is kind of cool. It is spring loaded, but again, that's like more pieces, it costs more, and I don't really want to fire this, but there is a spring loaded, so it does fire, and that is really cool. But again, it's just they just tried to do too much with their figures. They didn't really need to do that. And with Fans Toys, you could see there is no spring-loaded thing, but they did make it so that you can remove this. So yeah, that's just a difference there. But I'm also pointing out that because Fans Toys tries to do so much, you end up having like issues. But I will tell you, this is something really cool that I like, is these blast effects. And so you could put it on his handgun. This is really nice. This is one of those things that X-Transbots does that's really cool. And the other really cool thing that you could see back there, let me see if I could zoom in, are those mini figures. These guys, I think X-Transbots found a niche here. They should focus on making more of these. And you could see I did put the Autobots symbol there on Bumblebee and Brawn. But I don't have a white one that small. So Perceptor. These are really cool. So this Perceptor is worth getting just for that, in my opinion. Those are really nice. So that's pretty much all that you get. And I guess let me just do this. X-Transbots was nice enough to give you the instructions booklet, which has that same nice artwork on the box. So I'll say, you know, X-Transbots, you know, they do some nice artwork. And this one, unfortunately, their instructions doesn't have that bio card, but you could see all the accessories. So yeah, I don't need to go over this. I'm telling you, the way they designed the transformation is really bad. And this is kind of cool how they give you like their a catalog of all their upcoming figures. So where are we now? Yeah, so we just got the Run Amok, Runabout, the Double Dealer, and where is it? I think there should be the Galvatron in here somewhere, right? Yeah, this is what I'm kind of looking forward to getting because it looks good. Like X-Transbots always does a lot of figures that look good. It's just like a lot of people know the issues is with the transformation design. And then let's move over here to Fans Toys. So Fans Toys, people were saying that they did this just to compete with X-Transbots because this is not something Fans Toys normally does, give you all these alternate heads. But first of all, this is nice. You do get alternate face plates. You get a smiling face, you get a closed face, and options. If you want the clear chest, you can have that. I already went over the guns. And then you get 7 different heads. This is just crazy. So you get the comic book, another faceplate. I'm not sure what the difference is here. Another comic book, the toy head, another cartoon head, the comic head, and another toy head. Jeez, I don't know why they did all that. And then, of course, Fans Toys instructions book booklet, which is nice. It's always done in a nice booklet style. So that's just a quick overview of both these figures. And in terms of the comparison now, geez, this is going to be hard because I know, first of all, let me just say that, you know, whichever one that you like, you know, there's no right or wrong. I mean, that's just, this is really subjective. It's based on your, you know, preference. But in terms of art and design, you know, which is my first background, you know, things are not, I mean, I'm very aware of, you know, the differences between the two. So let me see if I could do this very short. But Fans Toys, as you already know, is designed more this heroic style, or like this comic book style, with the longer legs. And so it's purposely designed that way because this just looks aesthetically more pleasing. That's why comic book characters are designed this way. Fashion design is also done this way. That's the way I was also taught, you know, to design things this way with kind of like longer legs. So look at the proportions. Longer legs, shorter torso. Here, this one's based on more realistic proportions, kind of like if you do figure drawing, this is kind of like your 7.5 heads tall. This is like your 8 heads tall. So you could see the torso here is almost equal here. And there are things about the proportion that are off. So the head, let me tell you, is actually too small. Look at the chest and the head. That chest at most should be about 3 heads wide. It's more than 3 heads wide. And I mean, you could just even look at his hands and his head. His hands should not be as big as his head. Even this little square piece compared to Fans Toys, you could see it's really big. And you know, I'll just say this is really all subjective because some people don't notice it and some people actually like it that way. Kind of like I'd say, you know, you might like blonde hair girls, some people like redhead girls, some people like brunette hair girls. So that's kind of subjective. And if you're going to be objective, you have to compare this with the animation model sheet, and it's kind of hard to compare with the cartoon because it's not always accurate. But yeah, in general, the first of all, the comparison, the head is a little small, and you could just compare it with Fans Toys. And this video is getting really long, so I'm just going to try to skimp through the other areas. But this is coming from me, from my art and design background. I mean, just look at the arms. The forearms on X-Transbots are much bigger. This one's more is much cleaner, sleeker. And when I say cleaner, I mean other people have this same issue. This parting lines that you see, this kind of plus sign. People call these panel lines. They're actually called parting lines in product design. And then there's just, yeah, man, I don't know how to keep it simple. But even the dials here, you could see how these are done different. X-Transbots it's a little small, but I'd say that's more tune accurate. Fans Toys, you could see it's a little bit bigger, but I think it just aesthetically looks better. And you could see X-Transbots put that little detail in there, which is not tune accurate, which is more toy accurate. Fans Toys, their second version, they kept it clean and smooth to be more tune accurate. Another difference, you could see the scope here is protruding out far, but that is tune accurate. And it looks kind of funny from certain angles. And you could see X-Transbots, theirs is not tune accurate, but maybe that was a design choice because it does seem a little bit better when it's pushed back. And some other details here, like the back, it should be more flat here, like a rectangle. Here you could see X-Transbots has this bulge, probably due to the way they designed the transformation. I can even tell you the chest should not be a square. It should be more rectangle, like most of the robots. Yeah, I can go on and on, but pretty much all the details, like you could see the little squares here and the little rectangle on the center, the little triangle shape on the feet. I mean, they do capture some of the details of the cartoon. It's just with X-Transbots, you could see it's not really clean. Look at all these screws. And something I found really interesting is that I always trying to figure out why they do certain things. But you could see his upper arm here. They covered the screw holes there. And they even covered this sliding bar here. And they even covered 2 screw holes here. And that's really odd, because if you do it here, why didn't you do it to the rest of it? It's just, yeah, some things I can't figure out why X-Transbots designs things the way they do. But anyways, I just wanted to do my best to try to point out some things as short as I can, just to explain the reason why this is going to be my alt mode, my Perceptor in alt mode to go with my old masterpiece collection, and the reason why Fans Toys is going with my masterpiece collection in robot mode. I mean, there are other differences, the color, and I'll tell you that is one of the main reasons why I got the X-Transbots, because you could see the red and the blue are much brighter, which in my opinion I think is a little bit more tune accurate. And Fans Toys, a lot of their figures are darker, but I think that's just consistent with their style. They do longer legs to be more, have that more heroic look, but their figures are also darker. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little nitpicky here and just point out some other issues, but his hand. So unless you are aware that this thumb does not rotate down, you might break it, like some people broke some of their other figures by X-Transbots, because I don't know why they designed it this way, unless they're trying to make it so you purposely break it. But yeah, the thumb does not go down. And what's also weird is I don't know why you have this little black piece sticking on his palm. That's just I'm just pointing out some design choices here. And you see the way Fans Toys handles theirs. You could see the thumb is down. The thumb can go up because it is on a ball joint. And X-Transbots does have some figures that are done the same way. I just don't know why they didn't design the hand the same way. So yeah, I can go on and on. Well, let me just go on and on. Here's something cool. I like the way X-Transbots handled this chest piece. So when you open it down, this little tray, you could see it's all nice and silver. And with Fans Toys, I can't really open this up all the way unless I start transforming it. But you could see you got these red plastic pieces showing here from here. So X-Transbots kind of cleaned that up better. Something else too, I think Fans Toys did a nice job to, have this removable, which is cool. So you can kind of replicate that scene from the cartoon where, Perceptor took off his scope. But yeah, I can go on and on and on, and this video is going to be like an hour long, just like Pake. But just wanted to point out some differences, and just to let you know the reason why he's going to stay in alt mode. So with that said, I'll just do a separate video for the transformation, but let's go ahead and transform him to alt mode and take a look at that. Okay, here's a look at both of them in their alt mode. And let's bring out the animation model. And you can see that for the most part, like I said, X-Transbots did a much better job capturing the toon aesthetics. So specifically, it's like this little red piece here that Fans Toys actually didn't put on both their versions, their 1.0 and their 2.0. But also this piece right here that has trouble staying in because it, the tolerance, at least I can say it is cartoon accurate compared to Fans Toys. Yeah, I'll be honest, I really don't like this, the way this is just this blue rectangle box pointing up with the screw showing there. So, yeah, I have to be honest and say that Fans Toys kind of disappointed me here with this area. And like I already pointed out with the dish here, here you can get a better view, the red tabs that I was showing you from the front. But X-Transbots, you can see that they did a really nice job covering it. And the feet here in the front, yeah, this doesn't look too good. The feet here should not be sticking out, but it is an accurate blue color, but it should be more like this, just a different color. So all of the stuff I just pointed out, if you were to redesign it, which is what you would do in product design after you have a critique and you point out all these issues and problems, they would fix it. And I know that these could be fixed, but this is what we ended up getting. And so those are the differences between the two. And maybe that makes sense why I'm deciding to keep the X-Transbots in alt mode, because it seems to make the most sense. Because I already showed you in robot mode, I think the Fans Toys version looks better. But aside from that, I do have to point out a lot of the negatives here with the X-Transbots version that a lot of other reviewers already pointed out, which is the difficulty keeping this up. I have to work really hard to get this to stay straight. And you could see I'm being very careful, because if you're not careful, just like that, the weight, the blue legs here, these are very unstable, so they wobble. And the other issue is this really poorly designed wheels that come down. I mean, this is something so easy. You just bring this down and you lock it. But the way they designed it, and I'm going to take the time to show you here, but you have to slide it on this bar and then bring it down. But when you're bringing it up, this is really hard to get out. You do have a little gap there, which supposedly you could stick something in. Maybe you need a spudger just to get it out. But then you have to slide this. It only goes at a certain angle. You can't see that really, it's that triangle shape. So you have to get it lined up here. And then you can slide it over on that little bar. And it doesn't lock, so it easily moves over. And when it does, it falls back down. And when it does, that's another issue that causes the instability in this alt mode. So one issue is you could see the weight, the die cast here, it's just too heavy, so it topbles over. And the other issue, once you kind of adjust this, is you have to be careful when you're just moving it, because like I already pointed out, if those wheels accidentally slide and fall back in, then you have to get this thing all lined up again. And this is happening because the poor tolerance here on the blue legs, they just keep, they don't lock in place. So that's one of the negatives with the alt mode here. And with Fans Toys, I'll just point out, look at, you could pick this up, you could move it around, it doesn't topple over or anything like that. So they did a really good job. I mean, you do have this back wheel on his butt here and the two wheels on the front. So the way they designed it, form, function, something in product design, this functions much better than this one, just simply because of the way they designed it. And when I say that, I laugh because I'm just so confused and frustrated as to why they, they designed things like this, because they can easily just design this so this is not a problem. They already know about the tolerance here, so they could have done something to fix the this loose tolerance here. And this is a good time. I could point this out here so now that you can see. And this is how this little area broke off. This quality of plastic's not good here, and it's a bad design the way they made this really thin plastic piece, the way you have to pull it out. And what's worse is you have to tab it in, and like I said, because this is all moving around, this wobbles forward and back. So while I was transforming this side, after I put this tab in here, that's how this ended up breaking. I mean, it just kind of, the weight here and this leg just, just moving on its own, moving back and forth. So yeah, that's something I wanted to point out, because you want to be careful with that. You don't want to break this piece. It's just, if anything, if they wanted to keep that design, they should have probably made that die cast. And definitely they still should have fixed this. I mean, this is not good, this leg like that. But it's not going to be picked up and stuff like that. It's going to stay like this, so you just need to get it very careful. And all I could say is, at least aesthetically, it looks nice. The nice tray, the red little details here, and this little bar for the scope. At least it's nice. So this is what is going to stay in my alt mode. It's the X-Transbots version of Perceptor. And aside from everything I pointed out, I think this is still a nice looking figure. It's just basically now for display. So that's it. That's this is now my old masterpiece figure that's going to stay in alt mode.
Track it, Perceptor.
I'm on it. 1,000 miles. 1,500 miles. 2,000 miles.